Hello there.
When I first started out with Next.js, I had no clue what SSR even meant, which resulted in slow load times and terrible SEO for my application. So if you're building with Next.js or plan to, or just want to know what do these terms even mean, this is the video you need to watch before jumping into your next full stack app. Today we are breaking down what SSR actually is, how it differs from CSR, when to use each, and we'll build a simple example of both and compare them in action. So let's begin. SSR, aka server-side rendering, means that HTML for your page is rendered fresh by the server on every request.
What?
Now that is how the Next.js docs define it, but let me make it make sense. Imagine this, you walk into a restaurant, you place an order, sit back and wait. The chef cooks your meal from scratch, hot and fresh, and serves it right to your table. That is SSR. Your server fetches the data, renders it into a page and hands it to your browser. Now let's compare this to CSR, aka client-side rendering, which works a bit differently. Imagine the same restaurant, but this time they hand you a box of raw ingredients, point you to the kitchen and say good luck champ. That is CSR. Your browser has to fetch the data, render the page and make everything on its own. But what is better, CSR or SSR, and what should you be using? SSR is used when you need fresh content on every visit and SEO matters so that search engines can read the full HTML right away. Examples are news feeds or stock prices. And CSR is typically used when your page is behind authentication, SEO isn't important, and you want a snappy client experience. Examples are dashboards or admin panels.
Nice.
Alright, now that you've got the concepts down, let's build it out. We'll create two simple pages, one using SSR and one using CSR. And to keep things light and beginner friendly, we'll use JSON placeholder, that is a free REST API that gives us dummy data to work with. I have spun up a new Nextjs project and I'll be working with the to-do API from JSON placeholder. However, you can choose from a list of different APIs by going to the official website. Let's start by creating our SSR page, which will be a server component by default. You will export an asynchronous function by the name of SSR example and return the following JSX. Let's style it a bit, give it a height of screen, width full and display of flex column. Now call the API using the fetch method, await the response and log out the result. As this is a server component, you can see the result in a terminal along with the console tab in the DevTools. Let us now display the first 10 to-do titles with the help of the slice method. If you refresh the page, observe that there is no delay while displaying the content. This is the power of SSR. In your network tab, go to the preview section. There you will see that the HTML is being pre-rendered for this web page. Also, if you check out the SSR tab, you will notice that it is empty as you're not making the API call from the browser. Now, let's replicate this for our CSR page as well. Firstly, make it a client component by specifying use client at the top. Next, we want to fetch the data as soon as this page loads. For that, we will call an asynchronous function to fetch the API data inside the useEffect hook, which will trigger this function whenever the page mounts. Now observe carefully, when you refresh the page, you will see that there is a slight delay before the content is actually displayed. Again, investigate the preview section under the network tab. You will see that there is empty space for the content. Now let's compare them side by side. Firstly, SSR sends pre-rendered HTML, whereas CSR just shows a shell. SSR fetches on the server, whereas CSR fetches on the browser. SSR has a longer wait upfront, but instant content, whereas CSR loads faster but delays the data. That wraps up this video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you in the next one.